This presentation is on condition-based monitoring of electrical distribution systems and is brought to you by IRISS as part of our Electrical Distribution System and Safety Reliability series. Every year, thousands of electrical workers are injured or even killed whilst at work. To address this issue, safety and trade organisations around the world are enforcing regulations and standards that ensure workers do not open electrical switchgear for maintenance activities unless it's first put into a safe work condition. The NFPA 70E and 70B and CSAZ 462 and 463 standards and guidelines provide references for facilities to meet the requirements of workplace electrical safety and outline the best practices for setting up and maintaining a safe and efficient electrical preventative maintenance program. What is reliability? Reliability is the probability that an item will perform its intended function without failure for a specified time period under specified conditions. So we need to start to really try and break into what failure means, especially when we're looking at our electrical distribution system. When trying to understand failure, a valuable resource can be found by reviewing the failure patterns detailed in the Reliability Centre of Maintenance or RCM curves. The RCM curves are age-related behaviour curves which graph the conditional probability of failure against age. The patterns of failure illustrate failure probability against time and can be split into two broad categories. The first category being age-related failure or wearing out. The second being random failures where there is no particular wear out pattern can be found. When we start to look at the failure curves, these patterns seem to go against most common perceptions that age-related failures account for most of the failures that we see in the field. In fact, it's quite the opposite. This type of failure only accounts for 11% of all failures that we see. The majority of failures are actually due to random failures, which account for 89% of system failures, and in particular infant mortality, and that is where most of the failures we see in the first 2 years, which accounts for 68% of all failures. So this goes to some way to dispelling the myth that you might hear, I hear often saying, well, it's brand new, we don't need to worry about it. When you look at the age-related failure curves, it's exactly the opposite. It's brand new, we need to watch it more so we can bed it in, get the running times right, and therefore extend the asset's life by ensuring that it's maintained and running correctly. So reliability safe electrical solutions, we've now seen that it's important to try to identify failures as early as possible and to understand how failures occur and how these failures affect the functions of the equipment. To help us understand this, we use something called a PF curve, which is a curve that represents how equipment fails and how early detection can assist in allowing an organisation to plan repairs and avoid business disruption. When we look at an electrical inspection PF curve, we see two areas here. The P stands for area of potential failure, which is an identifiable physical condition which indicates a functional failure is imminent. And a functional failure is the inability of an item or the equipment containing it to meet a specified performance standard. So I suppose you could say, if we were looking at a 480 volt piece of switch gear, its functional failure would be the inability to provide electrical power. When we look at the PF curve, we can see it's really imperative to try and identify the failure as soon as possible after the failure occurs. To do this, we use condition-based maintenance technologies, and for the purpose of this presentation, we're going to concentrate on three tools in particular. The first of these tools is ultrasonic or ultrasound testing. The second is motor current analysis or current measurement. The third is infrared thermography, and also we'll review the EMSDs or electrical maintenance safety devices that are used by each one of these technologies. First tool is airborne ultrasound. Ultrasonic emissions are caused by electric anomalies such as corona, tracking and arcing. Each has their own sound characteristic. Each has a level of severity as related to the equipment. And most applications tend to be in the medium and high voltage systems. The EMSDs used are ultrasound ports, and ultrasound ports are required for environmentally sealed panels, although some clients use ultrasound ports as a dedicated collection point for their ultrasonic equipment, so they get standard means of collecting data and good repeatability on their trends. For motor current evaluation, the online testing is used when it's impossible to shut down a motor. And two types of energized motor testing are possible: current analysis and power analysis. The EMSDs that we use in this stage are external voltage ports, or MTAPs, and this is a port that the equipment can plug into, where all of the voltage and current collection points are all brought in through CTs, etc., to a plug-in point at the front of the panel, which can be accessed by the engineer very safely. The final one we're going to look at now is infrared thermography. So infrared thermography is non-contact. It keeps the user out of danger, doesn't intrude or affect the target. But the only problem with infrared, it can only measure what it can see. So the EMSD that it requires is an infrared window, and an infrared window allows all types of camera to look inside the switchgear and requires a special type of lens for the infrared energy to pass through. A very important point here is that most visual viewing windows that incorporate glass or plastics do not allow infrared energy to pass through. So although you can visually look through them, the infrared camera can't. So you will require an infrared window that has a specialized lens that enables a camera to look inside. So when we're looking at the PF curve and the early signals, when we look at the equipment we're using, we may hear corona depending on the voltage, and this is more to do like above 3 kilovolts. You might hear corona, and corona sounds like this. The motor current analysis or current measurement might start to show signs of resistance at this stage. Red to pick up any thermal patterns at this early stage. Obviously the EMSDs we'll be using will be the full range, using IR windows, ultrasound ports and voltage ports. The second stage, you may start to hear tracking, and tracking sounds like this. Very distinctive. Some people relate it to popcorn. Now, your voltage and current measurements now start to show significant signs of degrading, and your trend plots will go up. And the thermal patterns at this stage, we should start to see some significant heating around the failure points. Again, EMSDs will be used, infrared windows, ultrasound ports and voltage ports. At early stage 3, we will now start to see possibilities of detecting arc or arcing using the ultrasound equipment. That sounds like this. This is a very distinctive sound. And also at this stage, the motor current analysis and thermal imaging test results will be coming back with significantly elevated temperatures and readings. So really, this is the final stage where we would start to now demand or require an immediate shutdown for remedial works, and obviously the infrared, etc., will be showing us what components within the systems are breaking down, so we can order parts that may be required, etc. When we get to the final stages of failure, this is when we start to see the physical signs of detection for the operators, who may hear noises, smell burning. Equipment might be hot to touch. The way the equipment's running is not their normal operating mode, and operators become very, very astute when it comes to their equipment. They're used to how it should run. The likelihood at this stage really of being able to repair the components within the equipment become less viable because it's been left too long. So the repairs start to become much more expensive if we allow the faults to get to this stage. We should still start here arcing. We would see the results from the motor current analysis and thermal imaging increasing again, elevated temperatures, elevated voltage and current readings. So by the time we get to that stage, it's too late. We've spent too much money. So in summary, when we start to look at the PF curve, we can see that when we use condition-based monitoring, we extend the life of our equipment by Using the equipment, we can identify points of failure. Pending failure, we can inspect and repair equipment instead of replacing components. And the extension of that lifetime is really where the value of condition-based maintenance comes in, because we can extend the life of the asset. That gives us a much better return on our investment on the asset and our equipment. And again, much safer methods of working, much more better ROI on equipment. So it really is a win-win-win scenario by using condition-based maintenance and EMSDs in our maintenance strategies. I'd like to take this opportunity to thank you for listening to this presentation. Should you require more information on this subject or others around electrical maintenance, please visit our website at www.iris.com. Thank you.